Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're going to try and get back to the painting today, but before I do that, I want to work on those intake vents that were poorly installed. Remember I told you one of them, well, they both seem to have just been kind of half-assed attached. They were mostly glued in place. There were a couple of screws in one of them, but the other one, it looks like they used just a couple of nails to attach it to the drywall. And so I'm going to see if I can do a better job on that. I have some ideas of what I want to try, and I think it'll do good. And I think if I work on it now, if I need to do any touch-up before I put everything back together, I still have it at a stage where I can do that. So this is one of the two holes. This is the one I think that's done pretty well because it's got a nice piece of 2x4 which I can drive the framework for the vent into. There's also a piece up here that I can attach it to. But when you get over here onto this one's a little bit more of a mess. There is a piece of something up here, but that's not anything I'm going to be able to drive anything into. And there is a 2x4 down here, but the 2x4 on this one is basically at the level of the hole. This one is about 2 inches down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach another piece of 2x4 to the top of this, and I'm going to see if I can squeeze something into this hole here that I could drive screws into it and hold this thing into place and a little bit better. Also, I want to see if I can clean this up a little bit. It's going to be hidden, but I think I can maybe clean that up and make that look a little neater. Alright, so I've attached another piece of 2x4 here that I'll be able to attach the frame of the vent cover to. I might have to build it up just a hair because it's a little bit below the drywall here, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I also found the stud here, you know, running down the length of the house. They basically just cut through the stud here, and here. And so all I really need is to have about places where I can put about 4 screws. I can drive one into here, and if I can drive one through here and one into this stud, then that should be enough to hold this thing in place and make it easier to get in and out when I need to. So I've done a little bit of patchwork here. This stuff takes a little while to dry, so I'm going to let it just kind of sit up for a while. And I really got to go out and clean this thing. This thing's pretty gross. But you can see here, this is how they attached it. They just drove like little finishing nails through it and into the framework and into the drywall. That's just, I'm sorry, that's not how it's done, to coin a phrase. So, I don't know. We'll clean that out too because that doesn't belong there. That was just really a cheap way of doing that. So I think the next thing I'm going to do now is let's start doing the trim work. We're going to bring in that dark blue and let's start making our first coat onto the crown molding and onto the baseboards. It's a job I'm not really a huge fan of doing, especially the stuff on the ground because it's at an uncomfortable angle, but you know, it's got to be done to make it look nice. And that means I got to change into my painting clothes. Alright, so I got a couple of coats on the crown molding and the baseboards. I still got to go back and do a little touch-up work, but that's always kind of a part of it. But I think we're coming together really nicely right now. This is kind of what the look was that I was looking for. A really nice sharp contrast between the wall and the ceiling. And obviously again the wall and the floor. But I think this is going to look really nice when we get it back together. Like I said, still got to do a little touch-up work, but that's always part of the beast. And I think the next thing I'm going to do now is this little metal plate thing has been completed now and it's dry, and I'm going to hang that up. Alright, so we get that light back in, works properly, and like I said, I like how the bulb kind of hangs out a little bit underneath the metal plate a little bit, and it kind of looks flush as opposed to being recessed in there about 1 inch, which is what it ultimately ended up being. So I ended up, like I said, dropping the bulb about 1 inch, and that looks much better, I think. So I think we're good to go on that. Just going to be a little touch-up now, and I think that's just going to be, I'm going to let this dry a little bit before we get too much into this, but because I don't want to be mixing wet paint with wet paint, you know, because that tends to make a mess a little bit. But I think we're going to be able to start getting this thing put back together a little bit today. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to reattach the thermostat to the wall and reattach the faceplates on the light switches and electrical outlets. I actually got to replace one of the faceplates. I think it was this one because they ended up. Remember how I told you in the past when they painted, they didn't take any of the faceplates off, and so they ended up getting a little bit of paint on the faceplate, which makes it stick to the wall. Well, sometimes you can just knock those off really easy with a screwdriver, but one of them I actually broke the plate trying to get it off, so I'm gonna have to actually run over to Home Depot and get another faceplate. But that's not a big deal. I don't remember if it was the electrical switch or the switch or the outlet, but we'll put them all back on. We'll figure out which one it was, and we'll go get a replacement. Yeah, so I guess it was this light switch that I broke. You can see I kind of chipped it a little bit here. So I guess that means we got to go to Home Depot. You know how much I hate to do that. All right, so I've gone through and done the first batch of the touch-up. I already think it looks a lot better. Got, just some of the areas where the paint kind of smears through and gets over, gets into the adjacent color a little bit. It's getting a lot better. And I think what I'm going to do today now to finish up is I want to clean up the vents on this. I don't think I'm going to repaint them at this point. I think I'm just gonna hose them off, and then they'll be ready to go back in here. So I think that's gonna probably be what we're gonna do for the rest of the day. So let's get going on that. All right, so I hosed off the air returns for the furnace, and I know they still look pretty gross and pretty yucky, but truth is they're gonna be hidden behind the desk and won't be seen very much. So I think I'm going to probably just live with that. It's probably going to be easier than going out and trying to find a replacement part because, I don't know how old these things are. And while they, like I said, while they look a little grungy and a little gross, they actually look a lot better now than they did. They were grungy and gross before, but they were also dirty, so they aren't at least dirty anymore. So we're going to let these sit here in the garage overnight. We'll go and reinstall those tomorrow. So this came in the mail today from my mom. She told me that she had been sending me a couple of things, and she sent me some flannel pajamas a few days ago, and another pair of slippers that I can wear when I wear out the current pair. But she told me there was something else coming, and this arrived today. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I even need to open it to figure out what's in it, but I am going to open it. I believe that she sent me some official Wisconsin wild rice. And you know how much I like to include that in my recipes, so I'm looking forward to this. And I don't know, it's a big package, so there might be other things in there too. So let's open it up and see what's in this. All right, so looking at the packing list, yeah, it probably looks like it's a little bit more than wild rice. Minnesota grown wild rice, 5 pounds of it. But then it looks like it's a wild rice soup gift box, 4 pounds. So let's open this up and see what it is. I'm actually really curious now. Okay, there's 5 pounds of wild rice. We'll definitely make use of that. It's hard to get Minnesota wild rice, and you know me. I've messed around with that in the Instant Pot and got really good results with that. So I'll definitely make use of this. But then there's also this thing here too, and this looks like this is like a soup kit or something like that. So I'm actually very eager to see what this is too. Oh wow. Spicy southwestern soup, vegetables and beans and all that fun stuff. 32 bean and 8 vegetable soup. Wild rice vegetable soup. I'm guessing I just mixed these with water. And then some more Minnesota wild rice. Oh, this is a Canadian wild rice, even better. All right, so we got two different varieties of wild rice, and looks like 3 different varieties of a soup that I can make. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We'll have to try this out, see what this is all about. Got nice little instructions on the back. So, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Mom. Yeah, it said, Merry Christmas and happy eating. Love, Mom. Yeah, that's it. She takes care of me. I can't complain about that. So I think that's all that I have for today. Come back tomorrow and we're going to put this house back together, at least this part of the house back together. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.